I casted some bolsters on an old pocket knife. I want to show them to you. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, thanks for coming back for another video. This is Dave and I'm glad you're with me today. And in this one here, I want to talk about pewter casting. I just got into it recently. I never did any pewter casting in the past, and I've been playing around with it. I think I just did my first casting maybe 5 or 6 months ago or something like that. Haven't done too much of it, but I'm enjoying it and I'm learning quite a bit as I go along. So I recently ordered this on Amazon, this silicone putty. It's a 2-part 1-to-1 ratio, real easy to work with to make some molds for pewter casting. And I've been playing around with it, and the first mold I made with that stuff I bought is this little one right here. And it is for the bolsters for this pocket knife I'm going to show you. I don't know if you remember this one, but it's an old Ranger made in Providence, Rhode Island. And it was in really bad shape. It's actually, I'm spending more time on it than the knife will ever be worth. The blades are pitted severely. So I can't get all the pits out of the knife because the blades are so thin. They'd be paper thin if I tried to get all the pitting out. But it is pretty good steel, and the blades are really sharp and everything. So the main thing I wanted to accomplish with this knife was just to see if I could make pewter bolsters for a pocket knife. And I did. The first two I did on this side right here, I actually just I taped off the knife real good, and I wrapped tape around. I left the plastic scales on and everything, and then I wrapped a piece of paper around it and taped, and I poured, and those came out better than the ones that I made a mold. So I bought this knife. It only had 2 bolsters, one on this side and then one on the opposite end on the other side. So that was fortunate because they are shaped a little bit differently, and so I was able to get a matched set. But these bolsters that it came with are some kind of a pot metal, and they were chrome plated pot metal, and the plating was coming off and they looked bad, and the only thing I could really do with it was paint it, put some type of enamel or lacquer paint on them, and I didn't want to do that. So I bought this silicone putty and I made this little mold, and I had a lot of trouble. I managed to get a couple came out, but this one right here is way too thin. And the ones, like I said, that I casted on the knife itself came out better than the ones I made in the mold. This one here is a little bit better. That was a mold made one. It's pretty good. But yeah, they have that funky little tab on them that slips down in a slot underneath the plastic scales to help hold them on. And then they had little pins. Now, all I did was epoxy these on there. I made sure I got enough epoxy down in the slot and everything to hold them and everything. So it's not going to hold up very well, you know, with just that epoxy on them without being pinned in some way. But like I said, I was just playing around and to see if I could do it, and I call it a halfway success anyway. Okay, so this time I'm going to try it with a previously cast ingot of pewter. Maybe I just got some bad pewter there. It has some impurities in it. I'm going to try this, some different pewter, see what happens. All right, let's see how we did that time. Well, I don't know. That's kind of strange. The one that I casted on the knife itself versus the silicone mold. That's after 5 tries. So I'm going to go try and go with these. I'm going to let them cool down a little bit more, and then I'm just going to go with that. Yeah, so I took a $3 pocket knife that was missing 2 bolsters, and I managed to get 4 bolsters on it. So I guess that's a halfway success anyway. Not sure if I'm going to do anything else on this knife or not, but it was fun to play around with anyway. I've got some other pewter casting stuff that I did I want to show you, but give you a little bit of backstory. I make walking sticks too. And I'm always trying to find stuff to put on the top of my walking sticks for decoration. I've carved little figurines and mounted those and all kinds of various things. But when I started getting into this pewter casting thing, I thought, well, why don't I try casting some pewter tops for them? So I did. But some people were curious to know a little bit of back history on me. And so I'll take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about my past history. I'm a retired charter captain. I did that for 20 years. Prior to that, I was in manufacturing industry for 20 years. And prior to that, I was in the United States Navy. I was a bosun's mate on the 6th Fleet flagship, the USS Belknap, which was a guided missile cruiser, home ported in Virginia. And then we relocated to Gaeta, Italy, when we became flagship. Prior to that, I did some other jobs and stuff, but we won't go into all that, or this video will get too long. But right now, these days, basically I make crafts and I sell them at craft shows. And there's a little fly buzzing around here. And make YouTube videos. And the idea for YouTube videos came to me, I think it was about 8 years ago. I thought, you know what, I want to give back to the YouTube community. It's really helped me out with ideas and learned a lot from it. So I thought I'd make videos and show the things that I was inspired to make through watching YouTube videos. So I started it up about, I think I'm in it 9 months now. And I'm just blown away that, you know, I'm at 3,900 subscribers, and I figured it would take at least a year to get to 1,000. It was kind of slow going at first, but then I had one video that just really took off, and that was the easy homemade rust remover. I don't know how that happened. It was just me experimenting around with rust remover techniques. Knives, I made my first knife when I was 15, and always had a very strong passion for knives. And then when I got out of the Navy, a few years later, I built my dream shop. I studied hard. I come from a blacksmith background. My grandfather and great uncle were blacksmiths. He was a blacksmith. He used to build wagons and all kinds of stuff. And he actually went into World War I as a blacksmith. And so growing up around him and my father, and I always had a shop, but I built my dream shop when I got out of the Navy, studied and became a bladesmith, and started a knife business. And I had that for 6 years, pre-internet days. And but by word of mouth, I was fortunate enough to get customers from all over the country, and made and sold many knives, and burned myself out on it. I was making so many that I thought, you know, that's a bad idea to take something you really love doing as a hobby and turning it into a business, because eventually the potential is there to get burned out on it, you know, and that's what happened in my case. But after not messing with knives for quite a while, I slowly got back into it. I don't have my dream shop anymore with all my fancy tools and equipment that I had acquired. I'm retired now, and got my captain's license and retired to Florida, and did that for the last 20 years. Retired I've retired actually a while ago, but I've been just doing this, tinkering around in my little shops, and my life is craft shows and making YouTube videos now, basically. I have a craft show coming up this Saturday. I don't show a lot of my craft videos because a lot of people aren't interested in it. I've made a couple of videos and I don't get too many views on those. It's mostly knives and bushcraft gear. But I'm bad about going to people's playlists and looking at their other videos, but I do have playlists with a number of videos. I have a dedicated playlist for knives. I made a little list here so I could let you all know. I have 78 videos on knives in my knives playlist right now. I'm at about this, I think this will be my 214th video. I have 11 airgun videos. I have 25 tool videos in my tools playlist, 39 videos in my camping and bushcraft gear, and about 20 videos in my playlist for Work Knives of the World. And that was a series I did where I made a knife for just about every video. That was my interpretation of that style knife from that area of the world. And it's called Work Knives of the World. And that was a lot of fun making those videos. So anyway, I recently got invited to a show I haven't done before locally. They asked me to come and set up and sell my walking sticks. And I have a number of walking sticks still in inventory, but I need to make some more before that show, and that's coming up next weekend. This weekend is a regular craft show, and then that weekend I'll just be exclusively selling walking sticks. So the next week I'm going to be busy making some of those, in addition to trying to get some content out and make videos for you all. But yeah, toppers for walking sticks. So I came up with the idea. This is a King Crown conch shell, and I thought, you know, the top of that would look real pretty. So I made a mold out of silicone, and this is how they turn out right here. I thought they came out pretty cool. So show you what it would look like on the top of a walking stick, something like that right there. And to mount them, what I did is I simply bored a hole the appropriate size in the base. I put, in this case, a Tapcon screw, a hardened screw, threaded that in there real good, and then took bolt cutters and cut the heads off. And then now I've got something good. I can bore a hole in the top of the walking stick and fill it with epoxy and get epoxy all around this flat base here that I sanded down, and it should hold them on very securely. I played around with some other molds. I did a golf ball, and I just took a golf ball, pressed it down into the silicone. This stuff's really great. It's a two-part, easy to work, and you get about 5 to 10 minutes of working time with this stuff, and then it just takes about a half an hour for it to fully set up, and you can start pouring with it. But the golf ball tops, that's what they look like. And then I made another mold. Where is it? Oh, right here. I made another mold with a little clamshell. I took this little clamshell and I made a mold with that. And this was the first one I did. This is how it came out. And because I was just pouring the pewter into the mold and letting it puddle like that, it leaves it round and you've got to sand them flat. So what I did was, to counteract that, I took a couple of scraps of wood, and the bottom one's solid, and then the top one I bored a hole in it, and then I just centered everything up, sandwiched these together, put some rubber bands around it to hold it secure, poured it, and then it leaves a little sprue right there that I can use to mount these with, and it's nice and flat on the bottom. This one's a little bit tapered, which will be nice to hold the epoxy in. I'll just bore a hole to the major diameter of that sprue and then put it in. But I'm going to make a thicker one. I'm going to make another one out of a piece of thicker hardwood so that my sprue is longer, and it won't be tapered, but then I can just file some notches into the sprue, into that little plug, and that'll help, you know, hold the epoxy in and everything. So that's pretty much a wrap on today's video, folks. I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate all the comments I get, and all you subscribers out there. I just can't thank you enough for watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. And as Dave, see you in the next one.